All right, Kate, I finished F-Boy Island last night.
You know, I made a mental note last night to watch the trailer for F-Boy Island.
Yeah?
I didn't get it done.
You got to use the reminder feature on your phone. That's what I recommend. Remind me to watch the trailer for F-Boy Island tonight at 6 or whatever time makes sense to you.
Or maybe I just need to go out into my living room and say it out loud. And then when I turn on the TV, it'll be like, hey, did you want to watch this show? Because we're listening.
Oh, because you think the electronics are spying on you? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you watched the finale.
Yes, I watched. It turned out I had 2 episodes left. So I watched the penultimate episode. That's right.
One more time?
Penultimate. That means second to last.
In what language? Is that Latin?
No, that's English. Penultimate.
Well, it's got to come from somewhere.
Well, all words come from somewhere that isn't English.
Penultimate means second to last?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to do some looking on my own to figure that one out. Okay. When have you ever used that word? Okay, go ahead.
But yes, I then watched the finale of F-Boy Island, and I was very disappointed in some of the decisions that were made.
Because, Matt, I got to ask. You said you had it on the background, and then you eventually, started watching it, and you weren't doing what you were doing anymore. So when you got the last 2 episodes, was it getting 100% of your attention? Did you have another screen, or were you, on the couch with your popcorn?
My attention was a little bit split, especially for the first episode. The finale I was pretty dialed into. I was watching the finale pretty rapt attention because I was like, don't you dare choose that F-boy. Don't choose the F-boy. What are you doing? You know, one of those kind of deals.
So it did end up taking your attention.
Oh, yeah. Especially for I've already invested. Even though my attention was split for the decent bit of the series as I binged it on Sunday, I had already committed that many minutes, hours, whatever, to this show. So it's like, okay, better go ahead and get the most out of this finale. But one of the choices I agreed with, that was wise. And then 2 of them, I was like, what are you doing? Why are you choosing that guy? But whatever.
So, okay. I know you don't want to give away any spoilers. And I kind of don't want you to because, I'm not going to lie. Trashy TV does attract my brain every now and then and kind of...
I think you would like it.
Has piqued my interest a little bit, and I love Nikki Glaser.
Yeah.
Would you like to see this show flip-flopped?
F-Girl Island?
Well, not so much F-Girl Island as much as, a different name.
Mm-hmm.
But with around the same concept, essentially, with the 3 dudes and trying to figure out which one is serious and which one is...
sleeping around, basically.
Well, I wasn't going to say sleeping around.
That is kind of the premise of the show.
Okay.
Or players or whatever. Players?
Yeah.
What's the female equivalent of a player?
Just because you're a player doesn't mean you sleep around a lot. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Well, that is true, turns out.
Boom.
I
think people make a generalization that if you are a player, then you must be playing. But
don't be a player hater.
Exactly. I think you could play people without sleeping around.
Yeah, I don't know if it works the same. Do you think that would work?
I don't know. I think I need to watch the F-Boy Island first to be like, nope, couldn't do it.
I think so too. But yeah, this idea, for those that aren't familiar, that missed it on yesterday's show, F-Boy Island, they take 24 dudes, half of whom are self-proclaimed nice guys, the other half are self-proclaimed F-boys, and then the women basically, just like any dating show, get to know the dudes, and they're trying to figure out who or who is not an F-boy, and sometimes they overlook the fact that some of these guys are F-boys.
Mm-hmm. You have yet to use the reality dating show buzzword that every reality dating show contestant says. I'm just looking for that connection.
Oh, God.
Who am I going to connect with? We just have this connection.
That is one of the women right there. Yeah. It's like, what are you doing with this F-boy? Like, I just had this connection with him, and I still had this connection, and I'm like, ugh!
But, yeah, and here's the other thing. Having not seen the show, so I can't, Judgy Judgerson, the self-proclaimed nice guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes when a guy says he's a nice guy, I'm like, yeah, because that's what every girl wants to hear, that you're a nice guy. Of course you're going to say you're a nice guy.
I'm not sure if, like, during casting, they figured out that these guys had steady relationships for a while, or how they sussed that out further.
Wouldn't that be funny, though, with the casting, like you were saying, like, you think you're a nice guy, buddy? We're putting you in the other category. No, I'm a nice guy. I've got a cat. Nope. You're an F-boy. Like, my favorite thing about reality shows like this, especially trashy reality shows like this, is the reunion show. Like, after the finale, everybody comes back after it's all aired, and then they talk about, like, what happened after the show and what happened, like, when the cameras weren't on.
Right.
Love those reunion shows.
Did these relationships actually work out at the end?
Right. And everybody hears the trash that everybody talked all season long.
Maybe at the beginning of the of season 2 of F-Boy Island, they'll give us an update.
Which we confirmed. There is a season 2. It was signed for a season 2, right?
Correct. I'm not sure when it's set to air. I don't even know when this one came out officially.
I feel like it's not brand spanking new, like 2 weeks ago, but I feel like it was like maybe summertime.
Okay. So recommended trashy TV viewing. And this is a rare, you're not going to hear me recommend too many trashy TVs, at least ones from today. I might tell you to go track down old episodes of Blind Date with Joey Greco. Or no, Cheaters. Cheaters. With Joey Greco. Or Blind Date with Roger Lodge. I can recommend the old reality shows from the early 2000s for you to watch, but there aren't too many modern trashy TV shows that capture me like F-Boy Island Canon did.
Well, I do not watch The Bachelor or Bachelorette right now, but when it first came out, when it was something brand new, I watched the first Bachelor and Bachelorette. I also remember watching, what's Average Joe? Not Average Joe. That's the one my brother loves. That was scripted. Like, everybody was in it but the one guy. What was it where it was like Joe Millionaire? Where all these ladies thought that he was a millionaire and it turned out he was a construction worker. You remember that one?
I remember Joe Millionaire being a show. I didn't remember that twist, though.
Yeah, I watched that. And just to see, like, what do you mean you have no money? It's like, ugh, ladies.
Right, because they fall for this guy and then they realize that he's just got a standard job and isn't a millionaire.
Yep. Blue collar.
And then they have to decide, was it, maybe love is more important than money. You know?
Maybe. Did you have a connection?
And that's one of the premises of this show, too. One of the premises of F-Boy Island. There is money on the line.
Oh, there's money?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Is there money for the dudes, or is there money for the chicks if they pick the nice guys versus the F-boys?
I tell you what, I'm going to try my best to continue not to spoil this show.
Okay.
And I think I can do that by saying this. This show, more than any other reality show that I've ever seen, felt like, we'll just change the rules constantly.
As we go?
Yeah, pretty much. Which I kind of appreciated, especially in the end. But I don't want to, once again, I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
But yeah.
If anything, Matt, like, I'm kind of thinking I need to watch this show for homework, but I also feel like I need to get back to my trashy TV reality roots of MTV. Real World Road Rules Challenge.
What do you mean? How do you plan to do that?
Well, I'm going to look on my streaming services like Paramount Plus and see if I can look up shows from years behind, like The Challenge.
Yeah, because Paramount Plus does have the old MTV shows. Is that right? MTV?
Mm-hmm. Well, I know they did. They had Real World New York, which was the very first, and they had a Real World New York reunion, which I got sucked into big time. It was like one weekend, and they pulled out 8 episodes out of one weekend where people stop being polite, start being real.
That's what they do. Yeah.
That was history in the making. You know that?
What do you mean?
Real World New York, it changed television just like that. As far as like Big Brother and...
Well, I know that for sure once all those reality shows hit the scene, right.
Yeah.
It's like these were clearly derived from the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Which San Francisco is... Well, actually, San Francisco is the only one I really watched.
Because of Pedro?
Because of Pedro and Puck, yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I cannot live with Puck. That's my impersonation of Pedro.
That was good.
Realizing he can't live with Puck. Yeah, thanks.
Spoiler alert. R.I.P. Pedro.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yep. We weren't allowed to watch MTV growing up, but I was able. I'm sure my mom, now would be like, of course I knew, you dummy. But I was like, Mom, Pedro has AIDS, and I need to learn more about AIDS because my uncle who lived with us had AIDS. And
what?
She was like, whatever. So, yeah, I was able to watch the Real World San Francisco season.
You had an uncle who had AIDS?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
He lived with us, and he came to live with us my freshman year of high school.
Wow.
And then passed away, it's 10 months later.
Damn.
Yeah. He wanted to live at his sister Mary's house. So
that's nice.
It's nice, but you think about 15-year-old Kate, trying to con her mom, trying to watch MTV.
Oh.
And one doesn't have anything to do with the other. It's just, I want to watch Real World.
Well,
Yeah, 15-year-old girls.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Jerks. Actually, I think it was 14. Does that matter?
Yes.
It was a whole year younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every year younger makes a difference, yes.
Okay.
Although, no, it is kind of like a parabola or something. It's like there's like a hump to it or something, because the kids are sweet for a little bit, right? You're sweet when you're...
in 4th grade.
Yeah, there you go. That one shining moment.
It's 5th grade when it's just like, God, you guys suck. Just kidding.
There she goes.
Just kidding. Yep. So I ran an after-school care program, Matt. So I feel like I'm not just making these comments based on the ages of my children or just in general. But 3rd grade used to be my favorite, because 3rd grade, you could give them instructions. They could do what they could be independent, but they still needed you a little bit, and they were still sweet. 4th grade, they were pushing, but they still liked you. 5th grade, they were knee deep into Turdville. They just were starting to push the envelope of what they're going to do, what they're not going to do. And now that I'm around 5th graders more, because I've a 5th grade child and I'm around her friends, I feel like I like 5th graders a whole lot more than I used to.
Well, explain this after-school program where all the kids mixed together?
Mm-hmm.
And you were just new,
K through 8.
And you could just tell that, okay, that's a 5th grader right there, and that's
so
a 4th
we did
grader,
after school. We did before school care, after school care, and then we had a summer camp.
Okay.
Where it was all day. So it was K through 8, all mixed together in these timelines, I guess. So when you'd go have essentially outdoor time, they'd be out on the playground. It was K through 8. They were all mixed in.
Yeah.
You could count on the 3rd graders going to pick up the balls when it was time to go in. You could count on the 5th graders for kicking the balls as far as they could and then going in. Not going to I kicked the ball. Better go get it. No, I kicked the ball. I'm ready for snack now.
Yeah. But how could you tell? I mean, you just knew these kids well enough one-on-one that you knew which one was in which grade? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was with them every day. Yeah. At one point, I knew 180 kids' first names, last names, and their parents' names.
And now?
Well, it's been 15 years. 15? Oh, God.
Well, I know. I feel like you've been kind of hard on yourself with your memory.
Yeah, no. Now I'm like, hey, who's that kid in your class whose mom drives that red minivan? And Finley's like, what are you talking about? Finley's not paying attention to whose mom's driving a red minivan.
Come on, Finn.
Finley's like, hey, who's that girl with the really pretty backpack? I don't know. We're a pair for each other. Yep. I did talk to my therapist about my memory, Matt. I did.
Oh, yeah?
He's not worried about it.
Okay. Did he have any suggestions?
He said there's just a lot going on right now, and how else could you keep track of everything other than, he's like, I know you've got the lists. Do you do calendars? I said, yep. And he said, do you use your phone? I said, yes. And he said, do you use alerts on your phone? I said, if it goes into the calendar on my phone, it gets 2 alerts. And he was like, well, what about alarms? You need to remember to, he's like, do you remember that you have to take the put the washer into the dryer? I said, no. But do you remember you have to grab something to go to school? Yes. Or no, I don't. So he's like, all right, anytime you're like, ooh, that needs to go to school, he's like, just set an alarm on your phone, or like, okay, I'm going to try that. But he just thinks there's so much going on right now.
Setting an alarm or setting reminders?
Both.
Okay.
But he also said sleep is part of it. Get good sleep and hydration. And he said if there are things that really concern me, I should start documenting them. And then in 6 months, check out my documentation. But he thinks this is par for the course for my kids, my involvement level, work. My dog just died. My husband works a lot. Yeah, he's like, yeah, you're fine. I'm like, okay.
Just lots of things in your brain.
Just doesn't feel fine some days, Michael. And Matt, I'm going to be really honest about my therapist. I like him a lot. And it's all telehealth. So I've never seen him in person. I just see like head and shoulders. His name is Michael, which is my brother's name.
You do it over video?
I do.
Okay.
His name's Michael, like my brother Michael. And he kind of resembles my brother Michael. And so when he tells me things that are pretty smart, but at the same time, I'm like, shut up, Michael. You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know. You're not my boss, Michael. That's what it makes me think of, like when I'm a kid and my brother annoys me that, oh, that makes sense. You're stupid, Michael.
So your therapist...
But he doesn't know that. And I am much nicer to my therapist. Okay. But every now and then when he like has hit something where it's like a light bulb moment with me, I'm almost like, oh, that's great. And I'm like, stupid Michael.
Man. Yeah.
I know.
Maybe that's something to talk out with a therapist, you know?
You remind me of my brother who drives me crazy.
And so sometimes it makes it difficult to take your advice.
Yeah. I mean, I take it, but...
Yeah.
He's going to be like, do you want a different therapist? I'm like, no, but just don't sound like my brother, okay?
He didn't recommend that you do... He didn't recommend that you... what does he need to wear, like a fake mustache put on Groucho Marx's face?
No, he's got the mustache. Maybe what he needs to do is like... Yeah, like a wig and a hat.
There you go. Solved.
I feel like those are deep. He's going to be like, we've got deeper issues here if you're asking your therapist to disguise themselves. Should we unpack that? No.
No, thank you. Our time's up.
No. Yep. Checks in the mail.
He didn't recommend any specific, any mental exercises or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Just basically said, give yourself a break.
Mm-hmm.
And just do the things you need to do to ensure that the things need to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Via lists and reminders and alarms.
Yep.
It seems reasonable to me.
I know. And it feels like if one of my friends, if I brought this to you or one of my mom friends and they gave me the same advice, I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Okay, got it. But I'm paying this guy to tell me. So now I'm like, all right, I've got 6 alarms on my phone now. And I label them. So it's not like, oh, what does that alarm mean? It tells me what that alarm means.
Yeah,
so,
it is handy. Yeah, you can label your alarms for the unfamiliar. It's pretty handy.
I was telling one of my girlfriends, like, I've got therapy today, so I'm going to pay somebody to tell me I'm not a terrible mom. And she's like, you want me to tell you? I take Venmo. I'm like, okay. She's like, you're not a terrible mom. I was like, okay, I'll give you $5.
That's all it takes, huh?
Well, kind of. But I'm like, I'll pay you $5 if we can go somewhere without children and have drinks.
That's well worth it, yeah.
Yeah, there's therapy right there.
You ever thought about video games, Kate? Like playing video games? Maybe that can make your brain sharper? You ever thought about that?
No.
Okay.
I know.
Just trying to get you into video games.
I mean, as I really like Mario Brothers. That's about my skill level. That's about my depth video games.
And you mean specifically just Super Mario Brothers that was on NES? That was released in like 1985 or whatever.
Or the Wii.
Oh, okay.
Mario Brothers 1 is my love. Like 3, it's okay. I hate 2. 3, meh.
Yeah.
I have no desire for Mario Kart. It kind of makes me dizzy.
3 is meh? Okay.
With the raccoon, right? Isn't that?
Yeah.
Yeah, meh.
Okay.
Yoshi even like, meh.
All right.
I mean...
But the modern games, you have played the modern Super Mario Brothers. I
probably need to be outside more, Matt. I was looking at my driveway this morning going, why can't we flatten our driveway for a basketball goal? I would love to shoot baskets.
You're on an incline? You're on an incline. Yeah.
It's annoying.
Yeah, well, growing up, our house is the same way. There's a basketball goal. It's on a bit of an incline, but it's not dramatic. I would say it's oh dear, I'm going to mess this up. Maybe a 25-degree incline. Not very much. Still enough, though, that you're kind of shooting at a cockeyed basketball goal or whatever.
Yeah. We had a giant basketball court.
Really?
I say giant. It wasn't like full court or anything, but it was as far as basketball courts go, it was pretty big, and it was in our backyard. 2
baskets?
No.
Okay. But just plenty of room to...
Huge.
There's a 3-point line?
Yeah.
Damn, Kate.
All the way around. Yep.
Legit.
Yep.
That's cool.
But I loved it. I could be out there shooting baskets, and we've got options to go to the rec and go shoot baskets and stuff, but I'm like, there's something about being outside and shoot baskets, and when it gets cold out, and you put on a sweatshirt.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to be able to just walk out your house and start shooting hoops.
Yeah. So behind us, they're building a house, Matt, and you would have thought that they would have the whole corner lot, but they stopped the sidewalk. They didn't take it all the way to the corner, so I'm thinking they're going to sell that lot to build another house. So I was telling Monty, we should buy that lot so we have more room for the pool, and we could put in a basketball court too.
So the lot next to you is vacant? That's what you're saying?
The lot behind us
has not been purchased.
Right.
That you're aware.
It's like cockeyed. It's like half of there's a house being built to us, but it's not directly behind us. It's like offset.
What's Monty think about this idea?
Well, Monty.
Yeah, I do.
Like, or we could, buy another lot and build a bigger house and more land, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, let's just stay where we are for a bit.
Yeah, you're not ready to build a new house after having just completed yours 6 months ago?
Okay, I feel like if we're going to build a house again, we should do it while ideas are fresh in our head.
Well, write it down. Write them down. Set an alarm.
Set an alarm. Yep.
Yeah.
Mudroom and laundry room. Not together.
Separate mudroom, laundry room. Right now they're mushed together.
Yep. Which before we didn't have either one, so we thought it was going to be great. And now it's like, all the things right when you walk in the door and you can't get in the door. And you just,
Oh, man, Kate, I'm sorry.
First world problems, man.
How's that pantry treating you?
Oh, God, like a dream.
Is that right?
It's fantastic.
You've kept it organized and everything?
I need to get back in there and reorganize a little bit. I think my kids, like everything else, they screw it up.
Like everything else, yep, that sounds about right. The children.
It only makes me think about all the stuff I ruined for my parents.
Yeah? Can you recall any?
Everything, I'm sure. I don't know.
Oh, just everything. Okay.
Just everything. I ruined everything for my parents, and here I am complaining about my kids ruining everything. Yeah. I think my kids are a lot nicer probably than I was as a kid.
Oh, I thought you were going to stop. I think my kids are a lot.
They are a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Matt, have we talked about American Gladiators recently?
We've talked about it before. I would say it's been a couple of months, maybe.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to remember where you stand on American Gladiators.
I like it a lot. It was a great show. I watched it all the time growing up. Yeah.
Did you watch the reboot in 2008 with Hulk Hogan and Layla Ali as the hosts?
Oh, I think I did for a little bit. Okay. I forgot that existed. Yeah, I think so.
I did too. Well, the reason I'm bringing this up is because American Gladiators is getting another reboot.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is DJ Khaled the host?
I know. You like that? I'm so glad you picked up on my impression. Thank you.
Yeah. Sounds just like him.
A little bit of a change to the American Gladiators is that the Gladiators are WWE superstars.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's all I know. No other details.
That leads me to believe that WWE / Vince McMahon bought up the rights to that name or something.
When did it go from WWF to WWE?
12 years ago is my guess.
Okay.
Do you know why?
No.
Because they were infringing on the World Wildlife Fund, WWF. So they changed it to WWE. Yeah, because World Wildlife Fund has been around longer than WWF, or at least been using WWF a lot longer. Yeah, so that's why they changed to WWE.
Okay, so first it was WWF, but what was the competition to WWF?
WCW.
WCW.
Yeah, that's where like Ric Flair and Sting were hanging out for the majority of their careers.
Ric Flair was in WWF?
WCW.
No, that's what I'm asking. Ric Flair was not WWF?
At some point, I think he was. I think at some point he was, but I think he spent the majority of his career, at least as a national wrestler, with WCW. Fairly certain.
Because I remember not liking WCW because it was not the same as WWF.
It did seem cheaper, yeah.
But did WWF, now WWE, did they buy up WCW to make one wrestling conglomerate?
Correct, right.
So there's no competing leagues. It's just WWE and all the superstars under one umbrella?
No, there is another newish one. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head because I'm not currently in a wrestling phase. But yeah, there is another brand that got founded by maybe a bunch of wrestlers, like Chris Jericho, I think, is part of that. It's part of that other wrestling group.
But The Rock was WWE, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, he hit the scene when WWE was really taking off again in like the late 90s.
Okay.
In early 2000s or whatever. He was part of that resurgence along with like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H. Whereas like on WCW you had Goldberg, and then there was a little bit where like Hulk Hogan, left WWF to go to WCW, as did Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, formerly known as Razor Ramon and Diesel, maybe was his name.
Okay.
Are you impressed with my
I just feel knowledge? I feel like I'm more like I was WWF and I kind of turned my nose up at WCW.
Yeah, you were correct. I agree.
Like you guys just are not as good.
I agree with you on that front. But yeah, there's a little bit in the late 90s where it seemed like a lot of these wrestlers were working without a contract or something, and they just left one show one night and appeared on the other one like a few nights later. And that was the big deal. NWO for WCW, New World Order. Yeah.
Ah, yes, I do remember that. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm more like old school WWF, like Rowdy Piper and Ted DiBiase and Hacksaw Jim Duggan and
Macho
The
Man.
Undertaker, Macho Man, Randy Savage, and the Ultimate Warrior. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, Macho Man ended up on WCW in the late 90s also. I think Ultimate Warrior had a stint with W. So they did go back and forth for a while.
Is Ultimate Warrior dead too?
No, but he's a maniac.
I know Macho Man is dead, but are you sure Ultimate Warrior isn't dead?
Okay, I'm searching now. Ultimate Warrior. Oh, you're right.
Dead? Question mark?
Dead. You're right. In 2014, he died.
Oh, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yeah, sorry for messing that. There's a good chance that if you're like, is such and such a wrestler dead? There's a good chance that the answer is yes.
And pretty good chance of heart attack.
Right. Yeah, Macho Man died of a heart attack like as he was driving, I think.
Oh, no.
Hit a tree or something. But
Ultimate Warrior, heart attack outside of a hotel in Arizona.
Is that right? Yeah, I think pumping yourself full of a bunch of steroids and screaming into the camera a bunch over time might not be the best thing for your heart. I don't know.
I mean, you would think Slim Jim wouldn't be that hard of a life, but...
Well, he yelled snap into a Slim Jim pretty hard.
Snap into a Slim Jim. Wasn't that funny? I searched Ultimate Warrior, and then I went to type Ted, and the first thing came up, DiBiase.
Yeah, the $1 Million Man.
Is he still alive?
Is this turning into a quiz?
No, I'm asking myself.
I'm going to say yes, Ted DiBiase is still alive.
He is still alive. Well, looky there.
Yeah, we should totally do this quiz someday where we go through a bunch of wrestlers and
dead or alive.
You quiz me on dead or alive on certain wrestlers.
Okay, I'll quiz you on wrestlers. You quiz me on like celebrities or musicians.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, because when we quiz each other, it's really me quizzing you.
What do you mean?
I don't get to play any games.
Oh,
I'm like, Matt, I got a game for you.
I don't get to play any games. Yeah, you're right, because I do a poor job lining up trivia and stuff.
Nobody said that, Matt. Nobody said that.
I think that's what's that's better than being just like, oh, I do a great job coming up with questions, but I just withhold.
Yeah.
And stop you from playing games. That's not true.
I'm going to not ask that question.
You just come at me. You're like, hey, you want to play a game? I'm like, oh, a game. Okay.
I do, because I know that you like to play games. But then you beat yourself up about the games that I play. So maybe that's the reason why I play the games.
And we mean literal games, like Q&A type things.
Games with my heart.
Right.
You're welcome.
No, yes, thank you. Sorry for withholding the thank you. Jake the Snake is still alive. That, to me, that's one of the more miraculous wrestlers.
That he hasn't been suffocated by his python?
Or choked on his own vomit or what. I mean, he's had horrible substance abuse issues for a decent bit of his life.
Did he?
Yeah.
I would think you'd have to hang out with snakes.
Yeah, it wasn't this. Turns out those snakes are like trained.
Okay.
Womp
womp.
But no, he was doing too much cocaine and whatever else he could find to put in him.
Well, there's that.
Kind of reminds me, actually, when I was a kid, we went to watch wrestling at Kemper Arena.
Oh, were you there?
No, I was not there when Owen Hart died. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No, I was there when I was like 10.
Okay.
And so that was well before, or maybe even younger. But this was what's called a house show, which means it wasn't shot for TV or anything like that. And at a lot of these house shows, you're not seeing all the best talent. If you go to a televised show, they're going to bring out pretty much the majority of the big hitters. The house shows oftentimes get kind of second-rate performers, but they were...
Those are the ones that come to Salina.
Is that what you were used to?
No.
Salina?
We had Expo Center in Topeka. Now, we had some wrestling matches.
What's with you fronting at Salina like that?
No, when they get because I have to do commercials for Salina, so when they get wrestling in, I'm like, I do not know any of these names. So, it's like the JV team for wrestling.
Lots of wrestling action happening in Salina. Okay.
At Tony's Pizza Event Center.
Okay. All right. Getting a kickback? What's going on over here?
I mean, we talk about McDonald's way more than that, and nobody gets free McMuffins. So.
Yeah, that's true.
You brought up the B team, the house show, so.
Yeah, so the point, though, is that they still had to announce that such and such is going to perform. And then Jake the Snake was amongst them. And my brother Tom had actually made this really cool Jake the Snake poster, with the drawing of Jake the Snake and everything. And then he was a night of cancel, right? So they canceled. And then years later, after Beyond the Mat was a big wrestling documentary that came out, which had Mick Foley. Mick Foley was the main star of it, who's Mankind in wrestling.
Yeah.
Who was also Cactus Jack for a while, but also had Terry Funk. And then Jake the Snake, who was just a mess through the entirety of the documentary. It's so that night we went to Kemper in 1991. There's a good chance that Jake the Snake was canceled, was scratched at the last minute because he was passed out or something.
Oh.
So they did not tell us that, though. They did not tell the crowd. They did not tell the children, the fans of Jake the Snake, that he was probably passed out due to drugs and alcohol or whatever.
They did not.
No. Taking a bunch of WWE stars and they're making them the new gladiators for American Gladiator.
Yes. So they'll be taking on, I don't want to say average athletes because they're going to be good enough to be on American Gladiators, but not.
Oh yeah, they'd destroy me.
Yeah.
Have they announced any release date or anything like that for it yet?
I've got no other details have been announced yet.
Oh, okay.
That's what I've got. WWE is teaming up with with MGM to bring this show back. And it's getting another reboot.
And you do know, or at least the word that's gotten out, is that they will be using stars from WWE to fulfill the role of what formerly would have been like Nitro and Storm and...
Yes, I'm trying to think. Nitro was right on the tip of my tongue, though. What are some other ones?
I feel like Nitro is kind of their front person, or their main, their main guy. I don't know, Saturn.
Lightning.
That's probably one of them. Yeah.
Now I'm looking it up.
Okay.
Who are the originals? Malibu. Oh yeah.
Malibu.
Lace. Okay. Gemini. That's who I was trying to think of.
Gemini. Okay.
Zap. Sunny. She was the blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. These all sound familiar.
Laser. Did you say that one?
No, I did not.
Or Diamond. Remember her?
That sounds familiar.
She was a blonde too. She had some jacked arms.
Yeah, these people were all kind of superhuman.
Yeah. Let's see. Laser, Diamond, Ice. Yeah, shoot. Dallas. I don't remember her. Gold. Sunny. Tower. You remember Tower?
No, I don't remember Tower.
Tower is what is a typical, like, how you say The Rock just looks uncomfortable. He's so big.
Oh, yeah.
Tower looks uncomfortable. But Gemini, he does. I mean, he's big. He's going to get the job done, but he doesn't look like, how are you going to sit on your couch looking like that?
He's not a freak show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the F-boys on F-Boy Island had that kind of I'm too muscular disease where it basically looks like they're just becoming more and more of like a fist,
Oh,
their
yeah.
delts, like their neck disappears into this thing. And you're like, you can't even move your arms around, can you? F-boy.
Do you know where the weight room is?
F-boy, F-by. Always liked it when Nikki Glaser got that line out.
What was it? Nice guy, nice try.
Nice guy, nice try.
Okay.
Yeah. When she found out about the first F-boy, you should have seen the glare that she gave him when she was like F-boy, F-by. Good, great show. F-boy, HBO Max, and then American Gladiators coming back sometime. But with WWE stars. Is a common time frame.
We're so informative.
Mm-hmm. Yep.